If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is January the 23rd, 2023, and today the topic is approved. Y'all, happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope that you all had a great weekend. Mine was just fine. My weekend was kind of chill overall. I was trying to replenish on my rest and whatnot because I had such a busy week and everything like that. So Saturday, I don't think your girl did not much after I did the juice. I think that was about it. Can't even remember anything of significance other than having good conversations. I was having a good conversation with a friend of mine. A lot of confirming words and things. Like, honestly, this whole weekend felt like just a variety of confirmations in a lot of ways for, I guess, a lot of things for me. So God be the glory for that, because I was like, okay, Lord, I hear you. Okay, all right. And I just kept on getting confirmations. And I'm like, all right, well. And to be honest, I know I was telling a friend of mine just a second ago, actually, that I'm still, like, working on being okay with, my decisions and following God and, completely. Like, I'm still working on being okay with doing that. For some reason, like, I think, which I guess kind of goes hand in hand with this topic today, because I think a lot of times we do seek validation from our peers, right? We might be seeking validation from our family or friends or just people. Validation, confirmation, affirmation, all those different things. And yeah, I mean, it's good to get that sometimes, but at the same time too, what I'm learning and trying to remind myself, I guess, daily is that, as long as God is pleased with me, then that's all that really matters. And so, yeah, I mean, that kind of is where some of the inspiration came from in regards to this topic that I'm talking about today. I feel like the pastor was touching on it yesterday. I got the notes right here from church and whatnot. Speaking of, so let me tell y'all about yesterday real quick, and then I'll get on into the juice. So yesterday, yes, I did go to church. That was my mom's birthday, so shout out to my mom again. Happy 67th birthday. If y'all follow me on social media, y'all know I've already posted and all that good stuff, giving her the shout outs and whatnot. But still, once again, happy birthday. I hope that she enjoyed it and everything like that. Like I said, I did enjoy celebrating with her on Friday and everything like that. From my understanding, the family or my dad ended up cooking her a dinner last night and stuff like that. So, good, man. I'm glad that the celebrations continued and whatnot. I ended up going to church. Like I said, I went to church, and then afterwards, okay, the word and whatnot I received, all of that was, again, confirmation. And then I attended what was called the Parent Connect lunch. They had a lunch for the parents, and they was talking to us about, like, some of the things that they were about to embark on with the church, and maybe some, ways that we can get involved, and ways that we can, obviously cultivate our children's relationship with Christ, things like that. And then they gave us some time afterwards to kind of chit-chat with each other and whatnot. And so, it was funny because they were like, okay, if you live on this side of town, go over here. You live on that side of town, go over here. And if you live on this side of town, go in the middle. And I ended up going in the middle, even though they didn't call my city, but I know my city was near the cities that they did call. So I went on into the middle. And I guess I was in the right place, right time. I met, some individuals that seemed really cool. So, I mean, it just was a really nice conversation. Nice to kind of sit amongst parents and talk about, what are we struggling with as parents? What are we doing well as parents? I was telling everybody, I feel like one thing that I do well as NJ's mom is cheer him on. Like, he is so quick to always come to me and be like, Mommy, I built a city. Mommy, I did this. Come see it, And when I do, I'm over there like, wow, that's amazing. Like, I don't know if this kid's gonna grow up and build cities and give me cars, like, cause that's all he do now. So if he grows up and do that, like, wow, to God be glory. But yeah, I try to cheer him on and whatnot. When he builds and do things, and like even in class on no, that was Thursday, he wrote the number 20 really, really well. He was freehanding and he was going off of what the teacher was showing him, and I felt like he did really good to be freehanding and whatnot. So, you know what I mean? I be trying to cheer the little guy on, and I have to be stern and stuff too, because I understand that, I am mom and I am small, and he already kind of talking to me like I'm his friend or sister or something, and I'm like, look, like, you got to understand what our dynamic is. So every now and then I got to be like, tough. But for the most part, I do try to, balance that with the love and balance that with the, affirmation and all that stuff, which is funny because we're over here talking about affirmations today, and how we don't always need it. But, in his case, as a child, I mean, obviously he needs it. But as believers, right, as people that are out here that are trying to do things for the Lord and everything like that, do we need the approval of man? I guess that's what I ended up kind of studying this morning. And so let's get into it, y'all. Let's see what the word has to say. There's a lot of things, y'all, that I ended up looking up this morning. A lot of definitions and whatnot. I looked up the definition of confirmation, of affirmation, validation, all of those things, but I didn't write none of that down. So sorry, you guys can look it up if you need to. Go deeper if you need to. But yeah, that's not something I felt led to write down. Also, it was interesting that for some reason this morning, I was led to look up the Strong's Concordance for the numbers or the times that I wake up. Because I did wake up just at 4 o'clock, and then y'all know I try to have this out by 6 o'clock, which I mean, it's after 6 now, so I am recording after 6. But I try to have this out by 6 o'clock. So I looked up 400 and 600, and both of those things was confirmation of what I'm doing in those times. So to God be the glory again for confirmation and whatnot. The whole weekend, y'all, I can't express that. It just was repeat, like back to back confirmations. But let's talk about this approval thing. Let's get into it. So Romans 12:1, it says, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as living sacrifice, as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. To be honest, as I started to write down the verses, I felt like the verses that I'm getting ready to share with you all could just all be read back to back, as a statement. But I'm obviously splitting them up and whatnot. But hey, by all means, go do that. Go check that out and read them all back to back in that way. It's in the show notes, y'all. All the verses. But yeah, this is what the first appeal is. So then Matthew 6:33, it says, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. So again, it all goes back to seeking God first, putting him first, putting his will, his way first. And not only are you going to receive all the things, and I feel like we talked about that over the weekend, but like receiving the things that we ask for and things like that, but hopefully it will help us to understand that we have his approval if we do things in the right order, right? Matthew 6:33, I just read that one, right? Yes. So then Galatians 1:10, it says, for am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. I mean, listen, I ask myself this all the time, man. When I try not to play the comparison game, I try not to look at other influencers and be jealous. I try to just clap or whatever, for those individuals that are succeeding and they have their level of success, you know, by the world standards or whatnot. I try to learn, right? I try to learn and see what I can implement with what I'm doing, right? And I know, for example, I could probably go viral if your girl was out here, you know what I'm saying, derobed, right? And doing my thing, right? That might be a viral sensation. God, Sex, and Love channel might have all the views and all the likes and subscribers and whatnot, right? But I understand that my message isn't the same as that, right? I understand that, yes, we do talk about sex on here and all this other type of stuff, but, we're not out here, I guess, pushing the same agendas that others might be pushing. So therefore, our quote unquote audience may not be as large as the others. However, again, if we just focus on the audience of one, which is the Lord, that's all that really matters. And then again, if, obviously there will be fruit from that, right? Because he will send those that need our content our way. So yeah. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, if I was trying to please man, I guess I wouldn't be out here talking about this. I'd be out here trying to do something and go viral. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll just, not even just talking about people that wear minimum clothes and things like that. Let's not even go there. Like, maybe it's just about doing the next sensation, right? The next viral thing. Like, maybe I'll be on here doing, like, what they call them, mukbangs and eating on camera, all that. Like, if I just wanted to please man, right? But no, I guess I seek to please the Lord. So I'm out here, reading the Bible and, and things like that. I hope to be encouraging and inspiring to the next person at the end of the day. That's what I hope it does. But if nothing else, it does do something for me to do this. I woke up tired this morning, 4 o'clock, and I ended up taking like a snooze. After I woke up and looked up a few things, I felt like I was still kind of a little bit tired. So I was like, let me snooze for 30 more minutes, and stuff. And I guess that was enough to get me bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and wake up, and everything like that. So again, I mean, it's I don't know what to say, because honestly, like, I feel like I share this testimony all the time, that I feel like the Lord has just done something new and different in me now. I know I was telling a cousin of mine earlier today as well that it's just one of those things. I feel like the Lord has changed my life by renewing my mind when it came to this concept of time and this concept of like, oh, I don't have time. It's like, no, you got plenty of time. You got 24 hours in a day. So, I mean, either, this will be time that either before I started doing this in 2020, what was I doing at 4? Either I was probably asleep, or maybe I probably would be reading something or watching something. Probably not anything of significance, probably like romance novels or something like that. That's the type of things that I was doing before I started being intentional about getting up in the mornings and doing this. So, just saying, y'all, let's try to please the Lord. Not be out here just trying to please man, everything like that. I mean, again, we might not be the next viral sensation trying to please the Lord, but at the same time, again, it'll probably be the most meaningful thing you do with your life. At least that has been true for me. So I'll just put it like that. So then let's keep going. 1 Thessalonians 2:4. It says, but just as we have been approved by God to be entrusted with the gospel, so we speak not to please man, but to please God who tests our heart. Just to get a little confirmation, while we do this, while those of us that are out here sharing the gospel and everything like that, again, for the approval of God and not man. If you look in the Go Deeper section, I just put one little section in there, and it's John 12:42 through 50. It might be Pope, but it is a look at what it looks like to not seek the approval of the Lord, what it looks like to seek the approval of man. I thought that was very interesting. I didn't write it down to read to y'all, but by all means, if you want to go deeper and check that out, and see what that looks like. That is in the Go Deeper section. Got one more verse in regards to this, and it's 2 Timothy 2:15. It says, do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightfully handling the word of truth. So there you go, friends. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't have to seek validation, approval, confirmation from man if we have it from the Lord. And guess what? We already have it from the Lord. That's something that I was receiving yesterday at church. The pastor was speaking on all of this. One of the things that stood out to me, I guess, to share in this moment is one of the notes he said is God gives his anointing as a sign of his approval, acceptance, and permission. And then, to be honest, here's another thing that stood out to me as well. It's 1 John 2:20. It says, but you have been anointed by the Holy One, and you all have knowledge. So, all are called, right? All can be empowered to do the will of God. I believe that's what he wants us all to do. So, again, we don't have to be discouraged or feel like, well, I'm not qualified or whatever the case is, because he will qualify you, and everything like that. I feel like there was a lot of good things that the pastor was touching on yesterday. I might talk about it in the Go Deeper section. We'll see. But let me talk about the Bible verse of today, y'all, because it was another piece of confirmation for this chit chat this morning. And it's Romans 5:1. It says, therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.